Welcome back to our continuing E3 coverage here at Season Gaming. So we just wrapped up the Sony press conference and we're going to talk about our thoughts on it. So it was, in a word, interesting. Different format this year, a lot of kind of weird spots and catches, and they moved to different locations for the media that were in the stands, which created a weird viewing spectacle for the people at home or the people streaming like we were here. We saw the big exclusives that Sony was touting, and then just a few other announcements, but really not a long list of games. Only a couple surprises. So let's start right at the top. They opened with Last of Us 2, by far my most anticipated game from Sony. And we saw a cinematic of Ellie, obviously a little older at a dance. First thing I noticed, she looked weird.
Yeah, she looked very different than what you would expect Ellie to look like growing up.
Yeah, she looked odd. I wrote a note to myself here. It's like they tried to keep her child face from the first one, but showing her grown up, and it just didn't work the same. And it was weird because there seemed to be a contrast from the cinematic to when they showed the gameplay that we'll get to.
Yeah, I thought the in-game looked better than the cinematic,
yeah, it did.
Which was strange. And then also the cinematic Ellie looked different from the original teaser that was originally released. So to me, it just looked different. I don't know what they were going for, what the reason. Maybe it's just something that we haven't seen yet from her, and we're just not catching it, or something looks weird to us. But
could be tied to something else. Yeah,
could be something. But no, the gameplay looked awesome. I loved every aspect of it. I think it's what we've been kind of wanting. Talk about a dark game. There's some crazy violence. As we remember the video last year with someone kind of being hung, and then people surrounding that person, and doing this year someone had their stomach cut out.
Why not? I saw a funny tweet actually. Someone said, well, Sony invited everyone into a church setting to watch two girls kissing and a lot of murder and violence. So pretty interesting, The gameplay itself, I thought, looked excellent. It's exactly what we would expect from Last of Us. In fact, the menus, the UI, looked almost identical to Last of Us 1, Last of Us Remastered. Actually had a strange, after watching Ubisoft earlier today, it had a strange, similar vibe to what we saw from Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Dark, rainy, cloudy, kind of hiding in bushes, which we've seen in Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider. Very violent, as you said. A couple things jumped out to me. So very cinematic. The combat looked very, very cinematic. The animations were incredible. It looked almost scripted.
Yeah. The faces of the enemies when Ellie was shooting a normal NPC.
The reactions and stuff.
And they were grimacing and they were struggling after each individual hit. You could see something. So
you could see limb kind of movement as well. Different physics there at play. Excellent. Looked fantastic there. They also showed a part when she gets near the end of it. She's kind of in an old department store or something, and she loads up an explosive arrow and she shoots it at a guy who literally explodes and pieces of him go everywhere, but it actually created like a physics effect that shattered some stuff and actually hit another guy, which made him kind of tumble and fall. So kind of that physics reaction, and then she went and executed him, and that was, I don't know, that looked just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're going to expect some amazing stuff from Naughty Dog. This is kind of well, actually, it's the first Last of Us of this generation. The previous one was a remaster of the previous gen. But it looks amazing, and I think we're going to be pretty amazed when it finally comes out.
Yeah, which, sadly, no date.
No date again.
No time frame, no nothing. Just, here it is, looking cool.
Yeah, here's our first gameplay.
Yeah, so then it went back to the cinematic to kind of close out. The weird thing we didn't mention, they opened with a banjo rendition of the Last of Us theme, which kind of confused the hell out of everyone to start. I thought it was kind of cool in a way.
I think they were taking the vibe of the church in there and taking the southern feel.
Maybe they were trying to really make it feel like the environment, which Sean Layden kind of commented on.
Yeah.
But here's where it got strange. So we opened with a bang with Last of Us 2, everyone kind of blown away. And then what seemed to happen is they moved all the media to an entirely new room. So while they did that, they went to a desk that was set up, just a small little like this with the PlayStation banner.
Yeah.
Talking about a couple things. They actually ran some ads, which was really weird, for their own games, but stuff we knew about and have seen.
Yeah, the only time they showed Days Gone was in the ads.
Yeah, and we'll get to that more too, which was strange. But it was really, I felt here like disjointed. It felt really disjointed. The transition wasn't good. It didn't even feel like a conference at that point. It felt like we were sitting in an interview or a video while things were happening elsewhere. Almost like the viewing audience was disconnected from the conference itself. Very strange.
The media was tweeting about it, so we were kind of following that as we were watching. And they weren't happy. A lot of people saying this just feels really strange. They were having some technical issues throughout the conference as well, so that's kind of surprising. But I guess when you're in that type of movement of things, that's kind of expected to an extent. But yeah, very strange from Sony. It seemed like what they were going for, kind of like last year. Last year didn't blow us away from a presentation standpoint.
No.
Content is kind of objective to an extent as to what you personally like, but just very different from Sony the last couple of years.
Yeah, they're trying new stuff, and I applaud them for that, of course, but I don't think it worked out well. But anyway, moving on. The weird thing was they finally came back. It was a few minutes, several minutes, I don't know how long. They finally came back, and the game they went to was Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And all they really showed was a new preview for the Forsaken expansion that's coming in September. The interesting thing about that for Destiny fans is they showed Cade 9 hurt really badly, and he's a very popular character in the franchise. I don't think they would kill him off, but that seems to be the vibe they're giving, is that you have to help him or save him or do something. So we're not the biggest Destiny players here, but
No, I mean, just keep in mind Sony has the marketing rights to Destiny, so they're going to show some stuff there that other companies are not. So it's kind of I guess expected that we would see some Destiny.
Yeah,
I think we actually predicted there would be some DLC for the fall. That was kind of what they're showing off.
Yeah, we hadn't seen that aspect of Forsaken yet. No. So then finally they kind of got resettled in a new room. Nice big screen wrap around. And the gentleman started playing whatever that instrument is called, but you could tell they were leading into Ghost of Tsushima, which everyone was excited for. And they opened up with kind of showing a little cinematic into gameplay here. And right off the bat, looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
That was a jazz flute, by the way. That's Ron Burgundy playing the jazz flute before. No?
Too tired for this right now.
Yeah,
it's been a long day.
Long day. Yeah, it looked amazing.
Yeah, it looked incredible. Looked to be open world. They made a point of going to a hill, as they always do, right? And kind of scanning around. Now, we don't know if everything you saw in that image you can go to or not. And then he met up with supposedly a friend, and they show a little combat. Combat looked interesting. It looked like an action game with execution moves. The couple notes I made for myself here is that it's beautiful. The lighting and color was fantastic. Color palette. The animations in some of the enemies and the strikes and things looked a little clunky. The way the characters ran, going from The Last of Us, which looked unbelievable from an animation standpoint and cinematic, to this looked sharply different. The only other thing that we noticed too is there was during this whole thing between him riding his horse and looking at the open world and then going to combat, there wasn't a single piece of UI. There was no health meter, no buttons, no nothing. So we don't know if this is one of those instances where the game is going for a very slim or minimized UI just to give it that feel, or if the game is still earlier than we think and they're trying to show what is representative of gameplay, but it's not actually someone playing the game. We don't know.
Or it could be as lame as just the UI simply removed just for the presentation.
It could be that too.
Which has happened with other games in the past. But so Sucker Punch has always been very hit and miss with me with their games. So Infamous, not one of my favorite series, but a lot of people love it. And they do some very interesting things. Their animations have never been my favorite, but their facial animations are always very well done. And you can see that here as well. The environment to me really popped in the trailer more than anything. When they were running through the field and towards, I guess, the village that they were running to, I thought the running animation was kind of off or kind of weird. It looked clunky. Something about it looked weird. But the combat was amazing. When they were fighting one-on-one versus him, the main character fighting the 4 guys, they had leaves going everywhere, and you could see the background. And when they would step, you would see the leaves kind of break apart at that end.
And puddles.
Puddles. So that was amazing. I think we're really excited to finally see more of Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
And kind of more excited to see more of it.
Yeah.
But also,
they showed some. They showed also some other aspects, some stealth.
Yeah.
And they showed some traversal, which
going on the roofs and stuff.
yeah,
like
again,
that,
it looked very Assassin's Creed-ish because he got up on that roof and then you look down and the guy was highlighted in white, kind of jumped down and he did like a 3 animation thing.
That was cool. They like
execution thing.
They like locked on people to execute them.
Yeah.
That was really neat.
And then they went into the one-on-one battle where the only comment I had, it looked fantastic again, the leaves and everything like we talked about. It was beautiful looking. But the thing I couldn't figure out if it was gameplay or not is because of the camera. So the camera was taking this weird shift, if the characters are here fighting, it was taking these weird shifts really back where if you were playing that, it would be really weird kind of thinking of the angles of the combat. So I don't think that was real-time gameplay in that sense. So I don't really know, but we do want to see more of it for sure.
Yeah, we could definitely speculate as much as we can, but from what we've seen, whether that's just a demo or an engine demo or something to kind of show us, it looks really good.
It looks beautiful. So I want to see more. Like you just said, no date, no time frame, no nothing. So I think that's one that they want to probably be a significant new IP, right? Mm-hmm. And so they'll let that one simmer as long as it needs to. So from there, they moved over to, let me see here, they moved over to Control. So we finally get to see the new IP from Remedy, one of a developer of games we really like. We loved Alan Wake, we loved Quantum Break. They've made some other games that we've enjoyed over the years. And funny enough, the funny thing that was going around with Control is, hey, Quantum Break sequel is here. Because it looked incredibly similar from a gameplay perspective to Quantum Break. In fact, I think there was one scene we saw where literally if you would have showed me that screenshot without me knowing, I would have said that's Quantum Break with a new character or something.
It starts looking like a completely weird different game, and then the second the gameplay starts, it was literally a female Quantum Break.
Yeah, it was Quantum Break with a female lead. Rather short. They didn't really say much about it. And just a Control Remedy games. We have confirmed it's not PS4 exclusive. It's Xbox One, PS4, PC.
They might just have the marketing rights on it for what it looks like. And we love Remedy, like you said. So I want to see more of it. I want to see what the engine does or doesn't do. What her powers are, if it's simply stopping time, or they were showing a lot of like vibrating things. Maybe she can control.
She was floating, and she was telekinesis too.
Yeah, which you couldn't do in Quantum Break. Right. But you could slow down time and do some crazy things there. But Remedy always brings it, so love to see more of it.
Yep. From there, they went to big round of applause for the finally, we get to see the remake of Resident Evil 2. Been coming a long time. We've heard about it forever. Looked good.
Yeah, it started out what I thought was like mouse VR or something. You saw the mouse going everywhere through the shelves and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, is this a VR game? What is this?
Yeah,
and then sure enough, it was a mouse that you were. However, you didn't make it.
A filthy rat.
Yeah, a filthy rat. You didn't make it through the trailer. You die halfway through, and then all the good stuff starts. One thing I do want to mention about that remake, it is a remake, not a remaster. And at times, it looked amazing, and at other times, it looked really blurry in a few areas on some of the facial features and stuff. But the only reason I'm mentioning that is because if you look at games like Shadow of Colossus and some of the other remakes that they've done, they're pretty high quality. So I think we saw January 29th?
Oh, I've got it here. 25th.
For that one, which is right around the corner. Some of the other games we've been talking about didn't have a release date or anything, not even a release window. Last of Us, no release window. Ghosts, no release window. Control, no release window.
Nothing.
Yeah, so we don't even have ballparks of those yet. We can assume maybe fall 2019, if not 2020. But definitely not a 2018 game. Yeah.
From there, they got a little weird on us, and they went again. They introduced Trover Saves the Universe from the co-creator of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Exclusively for PS4 and PSVR. So I don't know. The gameplay looked really shallow and kind of goofy.
Yeah, it looked like a VR game.
Yeah, it looked like that's a good way to put it. It looked like a VR game. Don't really know what to expect from that one. They didn't really say or show too much about it. One of the weird things about this conference was just that they had these weird little interruptions between things, and they just moved on.
Yeah, I think there was definitely some technical issues on stuff that they were trying to load. There's one part where a guy, CGI character, came out the piano, cut, and then went to something else.
And then done.
I actually asked Ains, was that our internet connection crapping up, or did we miss something? And no, it was just some glitchy stuff
It
that was going on. So definitely something there that was off.
So then they went to Kingdom Hearts 3. We did see a little that we hadn't seen already at Microsoft's and Square Enix's conferences. The only note I have here for me is kill me. That's all I wrote.
Yeah, if you were a Kingdom Hearts fan, which I am, I'm a massive Kingdom Hearts fan, you have got your fill of Kingdom Hearts 3 in the last 48 hours. Gosh, more than 48 hours now. 3 days. We saw it initially for Xbox, we saw it for Square, and now we see it for Sony. Each one was a tiny bit different.
They reused a lot of footage.
Yeah, the big thing they added for Sony, if you hadn't seen it before, is Pirates of the Caribbean. We saw more Tangled, we saw more Frozen. So more of the Disney properties were there and present, but then they all kind of flowed into the same footage in some way or another. But we already knew the release date for Kingdom Hearts, so it's kind of cool to see it.
They did show a custom PS4 Pro.
Yes.
So obviously, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, knowing what happened with the God of War one, you may want to get your hands on that and reserve it as soon as you find it.
Sadness.
And they also announced, which was kind of weird, I guess for new Kingdom Hearts people who've never played it, a bundle of all the, I guess, final versions of the games 1, 2, and 3 in one bundle. You can buy it on PlayStation 4 only, so it's an exclusive bundle. Which is kind of strange, but if you're new to it, it's pretty cool. You can play them all, I guess.
It adds to more confusion of the timing of Kingdom Hearts. I have already purchased Kingdom Hearts 1 and all of its attachments, which include the mobile versions and everything, and I've purchased Kingdom Hearts 2 and all its versions and the mobile versions inside of it. I can't even guess how many prints of games have come out of Kingdom Hearts now.
37.
37.
Yeah.
So would make sense, but it's just it's a lot, and I actually would argue that going back to the original Kingdom Hearts is very tough. The gameplay is not very good, even with the streamlined gameplay. It's really hard to go back to.
It's a fair point. I was gonna start tonight, but since you said that,
yeah. What do you got next down there?
So next, funny enough, we went to Death Stranding.
You're struggling over there.
Just thinking about it made me laugh. I'm sorry. So anyone who follows us know I am not the biggest Kojima fan. Death Stranding we've heard about for 3 years now. Haven't seen much from it. Tonight we got really no detail, no date again, no window, no even hint of a date. We got what looks to be some gameplay, but all it was, the entire thing that looked to be gameplay was just him walking through different environments, which all looked similar.
Traversing through some kind of a hillside, hill country type thing.
Climbing.
We saw some climbing. We saw falling from the climbing. Then we finally moved to another cinematic of him taking his glove off, putting his hand down. Handprints appearing. Yeah,
so there's 3 quotes. I took them here throughout the video. It said, "Give me your hand in death, give me your hand in flesh, give me your hand in spirit." And at one point, again, we see, well, we don't see because they're invisible, but supposedly these invisible creatures where they're standing still there and making sure they're not making noise. But if you noticed, every single print is just a hand. Yeah. There's no feet ever. So obviously there's something there that Kojima is leading us towards, right? They showed a tiny bit of gameplay at the end where those kind of creatures he could sense were there, and he was trying to sneak by them, and he made too much noise, and they grabbed him and dragged him down into ink, apparently, and that was it.
Yeah, that's where it ended. We didn't see anything else from there.
No date, no story details, no UI, again, no details on the world. And the only thing I noted here, and I know I can be a critic, is like I said, the environments looked very similar. They didn't really show a lot of anything. It was just him walking.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Kojima fan, you're probably going to defend this nonstop and say that's Kojima's genius, as I always joke. But from a social media standpoint, everybody was even more confused now.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody saying, I get it, or this is something different. But I think one of the things I said about Death Stranding before E3 was that they had to show gameplay or I'd be completely done. I'm not completely done, but at the same time, I'm not looking forward to it because I have no idea when it's coming, or when it's not coming, or if it's even coming out this generation. I don't even know. But I'm excited to see when it actually comes out and we get a date and we get some kind of at least a release window. I don't even a release date or anything. Maybe even a year. Just tell me 2020. But it's cool from what we see from the animation stuff, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I know Kojima does have a E3 Coliseum discussion that he's doing, so I don't know if more details will come out there.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that's tomorrow or Wednesday, but anyway, we'll obviously keep you updated on that piece. So from here, they went to Spiderman, which obviously hotly anticipated. The one big game we know is coming. We know when it's coming. Love Insomniac Games. We've talked about that before. Mm-hmm. From an enemy standpoint, and you know far more about this, so I'll just let you take over, is the Sinister Six. So if you've got this right, or if I've got this right, we've got Electro, Rhino, Vulture, Scorpion. You say Negative Man?
So he is not actually part of the Sinister Six. And in digging more into who that sixth person could be, is Green Goblin at the end. So the trailer ends, and Peter, who I'm assuming is Peter Parker, mumbles something along the lines of Harry or something like that is what I kind of heard.
We listened to it 4 times trying to figure out what it was.
We stopped it, we played it back and forth. Social media speculation is saying Iron Man, but he doesn't really fit into this game whatsoever. Green Goblin is the main leader of the Sinister Six. Other people that it could be is Dr. Octopus, or it could even be Venom. Some people have kind of mentioned Venom. But Harry is what to me it sounded the close to, and Harry Osborn is one of the goblins. There's multiple ones. So one of the things that we speculated before E3 is that we would see more of the villains in this E3, and we did. Yeah. The one thing I'm going to say about Spider-Man that really let me down was at the start of the trailer, it takes them to the main prison in the Spider-Man universe, and the gameplay looked like a clone of the Arkham Asylum series. And more than anything, it's the original Arkham, which takes place in the prison. And to me, I mean, the enemy variants were the same. They had some kind of a choke collar that was, or something that was keeping them in prison. You had people with taser sticks. You had people with shields. And literally even some of the takedowns looked like they were straight out of the Batman games. It wasn't until that he broke out of the prison and was fighting Electro outside that it went into more of the Spider-Man that we were looking forward to seeing here. And the battle looked fantastic. Animation was fantastic. The webbing was silky smooth. The gameplay was silky smooth. Looked cool. Electro looked very odd to me. I wasn't a big fan of his costume. Rhino looked amazing. Scorpion looked amazing. So all the other character skins or the way they have them made up in this universe looks really, really good. So I'm super excited about it. This is one that we actually do know that is coming. And it's right around the corner.
Yeah, it's only a few months away. For me, I said, funny enough, I'm not even a huge fan of the Batman games. Haven't played them a ton, but I said to Bert while we were watching it, I said, this looks just like Arkham. Yeah. And which is kind of strange because one of the cool things everyone's excited for, at least I'm excited for, with Spider-Man is the huge New York City, right? And swinging around it and how big it is and how you can explore. And this entire demo was in this confined little prison space of combat. And the combat didn't look any different. They didn't really highlight anything special about Spidey other than his Spidey sense going off.
Yeah, the Spidey sense would go off in different areas. And one thing that was different is he was running vertical up the buildings, which he hadn't done in some of the other trailers as much. There was a couple times he did it, but there was like almost a God of War movement from the original God of War trilogy where he's going up something.
Almost
and
like a quick time. You had to pick the direction to go.
Correct. Yep.
Which they also did, when he broke out and he said he was swinging to get to Electro, you could see it was just like button presses to where his, his web swinging was going to go. Yep. And the other thing that was kind of weird about it too was the entire ending when he got to the roof and he was fighting all of them, right? From there all the way to the lead up to the end with the name we're still trying to figure out. That was just a video. Yeah. It wasn't gameplay. It was just a cinematic. So again, the only gameplay we really got was right there in the prison, which was kind of disappointing. I thought, was it last E3 or maybe Paris Games Week where they showed him actually floating through the city? And
it was fantastic. I would say last year's cinematics were a lot better outside of having the villains in there this time.
Yeah.
But kind of seeing Manhattan come to life in the game was more exciting to me than this little prison, which is actually obviously it's a big part of the Spider-Man universe, but it's very different than what you would expect. We would think that they would show more of that and not something that is like the Arkham games, which is kind of a critique for me. Still super excited about it. We both have the collector's edition pre-ordered.
I don't know
why. we might have a pre-order problem. But it does look good. It's something we're looking forward to, and like I said before, one of the only games we know is coming out this fall.
Soon, yeah. Mm-hmm. And the only thing we didn't see on Spider-Man, no custom console.
Yeah.
So our friend Dan Rodriguez will be a little disappointed, I think.
Yeah.
So what we didn't see, so one thing that jumped out to both of us is that we went back when we talked about the preview for E3 in Sony's conference. We went back and researched everything before we do those videos. Sony had previously announced that we were going to get Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man,
Days Gone,
and why am I forgetting the fourth? Last of Us. How do I forget Last of Us 2? Really?
You did that last time too.
Those were the four, and then we were going to get a Death Stranding trailer, which Kojima confirmed, right? Instead, Days Gone was a no-show. It was shown for 10 seconds in that ad segment we talked about, and Death Stranding seems to have taken its place.
Yeah.
So we didn't get any deep dive on Days Gone at all. So they're probably going to be showing it, through the week. But that was a weird switch. I don't know if something happened with Days Gone, or if they felt more confident showing Death Stranding. I don't really know what happened there. Couple small announcements were made. Black Ops 3 is now available for PS Plus subscribers for free. So the full game. They also announced that God of War is getting a New Game Plus mode. But the interesting thing, they said that it's coming in an update in the future.
Yeah, that was it. Very vague.
Again, no date, no nothing. So, and that was it. They just ended, and they went, the conference ended, and they went back outside to that little setup where people, started talking again. People I don't think I've seen before. Maybe it's just me, but... So for me personally, Last of Us 2 is a given. I don't need to see any more of that. I didn't even need to see it tonight. That's a day one buy. Ghost of Tsushima, I'm waiting to see more. I'm very intrigued by it. I think if it's done well, it's going to be fantastic, and I love the look of the world, and can't wait to see more of that. Spider-Man, I've got the collector's edition pre-ordered. Not so much because I like the character, just because I think the game's going to be a lot of fun to play. So I'll probably keep on that. And Resident Evil 2 remake interested me, and Control interested me because I like Remedy games. But otherwise, kind of a letdown from Sony this year, in the sense that it was, like we said, kind of disjointed, very strange at times, technical issues, and really nothing that we didn't see coming. I'm not a huge Death Stranding fan, or so far anyway. I might become one in the future. But yeah, nothing that really kind of got me pumped more so than when we started.
Yeah, if anything, I would say there was more surprises of what we didn't see than what we did see. We were kind of expecting a lot of gameplay today. I was expecting to see more of Days Gone. There's been a lot of rumors that there's a lot of polish and fix on that game, and that it might get delayed further. It's been kind of the one game that's been having a lot of delay issues. It's currently scheduled for February 22nd, one of the busiest days of the calendar. If they want to polish that up and go against the other competition, it's probably a good idea. Other big omissions that I saw, there was no Shenmue 3. They had showed that. No Final Fantasy 7 remake at all. That's completely just gone.
Red Dead?
Yeah, no, Red Dead, we were kind of expecting them to show something because they appear to have the marketing rights for Red Dead, at least, and they're going to have some DLC stuff for it as well. We also didn't see the much rumored Superman game from Rocksteady. We were kind of hoping that we would see it there. There was rumors that it would be there. Also, no Splinter Cell. So, looks like Splinter Cell, unless that comes out on the damn Switch. Wouldn't that be just crazy? No,
stop it.
Wouldn't. No, it's not going to come out on the Switch.
It's late. We're tired. Forgive us.
But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that we didn't see. I think we actually saw less content than we expected. But overall, just a very weird conference. There's a lot of issues. I'm sure that you're going to see a lot of, depending on who you're following on social media, you're going to either see that it was the best thing that they've ever seen, or you're going to see a lot of Xbox people just bashing it. So I don't know. Very different. We'll see what actually happens at E3 for the next few days from Sony. Maybe there'll be some more surprises that maybe were supposed to be, and maybe they had technical issues and they didn't work or something. But
well, and we talked before because Sony said they were going to show only the 4 big games as deep dives. The weird thing, when you say deep dive to me, I think details. You're going to give us details. We didn't get details.
Yeah, no release dates on the big stuff that we were kind of expecting outside of Days Gone, which still has that tentative date. But the other big 3 that they were planning on, nothing.
No, but I mean, we didn't get, even beyond the dates, right? We didn't get Ghost of Tsushima, who the characters are, what the gameplay systems are, what you can expect, narrative, anything like that. I don't know. Nor Death Stranding. Not that we expected it, but anyway, yeah. Excited for the big titles. Other than that, that's about it.
Yeah, we had a good time watching it. It's been a long day. Tomorrow's actually E3 versus the conferences, so we'll probably do just an end of day recap for you guys tomorrow of what we saw at the conference. Keep in mind, tomorrow's the first day of the conference, so it's going to be mega packed. We're probably going to have to be navigating within groups of people. We do have some interviews lined up with some folks that we'll be bringing to you later in the week. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow we'll probably, like I said, just kind of see the conference, get around, figure out the best places to see and do things, and then have more actual content on Wednesday and Thursday for you.
Yeah. So as always, thanks for tuning in. We'll have more coming to you the rest of the week. Good night.